Hello, hello. Good evening, friends. It is a special edition of Medical Billers Network Live. I'm so excited that you guys are here. I have a very, very special guest with me today, whom I will announce in just a moment. I first want to say hello to you guys as you join. Please make sure that you let me know that you are here. So pop something in the comments and just say hello. And today, your question of the day is, what are you most grateful for in your professional life? So I know there's lots of things that we can talk about in our personal lives, and most of us who have like a gratitude practice, maybe you're writing down things you're grateful for. I guarantee you that few and far in between come these little nuggets of gratitude related to our business or professional life. And so today is basically a party. We're talking about what we're most grateful for in our career lives. So I really want you to invite you into the conversation. Today is meant to be a really fun dialogue where we can just kind of walk down a memory lane and just talk a little bit about ourselves and our careers. So I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today. Hi, Vanita, welcome. So happy to have you here. So this special guest today is my lovely mother. Hi.
Hi. How are you doing,
Mama
Jasmine?
Joyce.
Hello, everyone.
Say that again. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
That's okay. Hello, Jasmine. Hello, everyone that's on with us.
Love it. Yes. Hi, Mom. We're going to call her Mama Joyce. That's what we affectionately call her. I realize our names are not showing. So if someone in the back, can you guys help me fix that? I don't know why they're not showing up. But this is Mama Joyce. So if you guys want to say hi to Mama Joyce when you come in, this is my mama. I am here on location, we'll say, at my parents' house because it's Thanksgiving week. And so I'm excited to be out of town and spending time with my family. We've been doing a lot of cool things. We're here all week. And it's just a lot more fun. Tomorrow we are fasting for the first part of the day and preparing our bellies to eat a bunch of food. And I say fasting because we're just too busy cooking food. So we're not going to be eating for most of the first part of the day. We'll just be like taste testing things. So yay, thank you for putting the names up. So as you guys join, please let me know what you are most grateful for in your professional lives. We've had a few different conversations about kind of a then and now experience, like how it was in healthcare before and what it looks like now. Oh, look, Benita said hi to you. Hi, Mama Joyce. Thank you. So, really what I wanted to chat about today is that story. You guys have asked a lot of questions a little bit about our past and that pathway into me starting the business. And then I want to talk about what I'm really super grateful for, having had this company that I've had for 17 years, going on 18 years, which blows my mind. Next year is 18 years. And I know that date and the time, I lose track of time. Like as we get older, like time just flies by. I don't know what that is. It seems like something that like someone has programmed into into us, like as adults, that like time just flies. But what's happened is my daughter actually was born during the early parts of my business. So like I gave birth to her literally right around the same time that I was creating the business. So I always remember the date. And then I have like this kind of new birth of something that I really wanted to pursue, which you guys are seeing now, which that came with my son's birthday. So I'm like birthing like lots of things around the same time I have children. I don't know. There's some kind of connection there. I don't know what that is. So today's going to be a fun conversation. You guys are going to learn a little bit about me and my journey into healthcare, and you can ask questions. I want to hear a little bit about your journey. If you are listening to this on the replay, I know we're a little earlier, and there's a lot of you that are in different time zones. So we're a little earlier today. If you listen to this on the replay, totally feel free to put a comment and let me know what you're thinking, share what your gratitude is. And then if you want to have a conversation, jump into the Facebook, because I'd love to chat with you about things. We often are doing other little conversations and just bits there that just continue a deeper dialogue. So I wanted to bring my mom on because one of the discussions that we had a couple of weeks back was about my having an office in my parents' home. And so the really cool thing is that my parents were super gracious to just like open up their home. But before I get into that, I want to talk a little bit about something that really kind of going way, way, way back. something that really is the impetus or like the reason or the seed, we'll say, for me even becoming an entrepreneur. And that's really both of my parents. Both of my parents are like, they are quite the entrepreneurial like spirits. Both of them really, both of them really like to stay busy and constantly do things. And my dad military, my mom, before getting into healthcare and other things that she does now, she did more kind of we'll say, I was like contract freelancy type things in fitness. So she was like a personal trainer, she did coaching, she did all kinds of different things, and they've always just been on the go. So one of the things that I'm super grateful for is I have that bug of just like doing things, and not just doing them but figuring them out. Both of my parents love to learn new things and try new challenges, and I know that that is it's a not always instilled in us as adults. I know that not all parents are encouraging you to do something different. There's some parents out there that are just stay the course, do what we did is for generations, don't do something new. And my parents always encouraged me to just try it. If you want to do it, try it. And so thank you for that, Mama. So grateful for that. So grateful.
You're welcome, baby. I'm always jumping in trying new things. So
Yeah,
that's
totally. So one of the main things with my start of my whole like career, my journey, like my mom and I joke around, like she's like, oh well, how far back are you gonna go? Because like I've always had a bug for stuff, for business and stuff. Like my first business was jewelry making, like first official business that I like had an accounting journal for. It was jewelry making. I was like 9 or something. And I had inventory and I had an accounting book, and I would sell or try to sell to as many people as I could my little beaded jewelry. And so that was like my first, shot at entrepreneurial life. And then it grew into I don't remember how I got into babysitting. I think I just used to hang out at the pool a lot, and then I started meeting like the neighborhood kids and the parents and stuff. And then I started a babysitting company, and that was also inspired by the Babysitters Club. Does anybody know that series of books, the Babysitters Club? I was like so into the Babysitter Club books. So that series, and then of course my desire to just like kind of do something different and make some extra money. So I had like business cards, and I had like work flyers, with the little tearaways with my home phone number on the on the little flyers. So, do you remember those times, Mama?
Yes, I do. Please. We used to give out the cards and people used to take them from us, and so you were pretty popular.
When I was going through some old stuff, and I found my very first reference letter that I ever received in my life was from a mom that I babysit for her son, like her little guy. And I remember the experience because he was just so fun. And it was like my first experience with someone like little-ish. He was like just turning 2 when I started with him. And then they were going to be moving away. So she just like, she had written this really awesome reference letter for me. And I thought it was the coolest thing. So I legit have that thing to this day because I thought it was so cool to have a reference letter from like, and I didn't tell you, I was at that time I was 11 or 12, whatever age you could do. I can't remember. I did a certification. I think I was 11 or 12 when I could do the babysitter certification. You could babysit for like a certain number of hours, and it couldn't be a kid under a certain age or something. So yeah, totally different stage, right, Mom?
Yeah, really. Yeah, I never forget when you first start working in the medical field at 14 years old. You was like you went in as I had to sign the sheet for you to work at 14, and you went in working for like maybe 3 or 4 hours a day, probably 3 hours. I think that's what it was in Fairfax. But and then they move you up to a manager, and I'm like, wait, you at 14 you became a medical manager? I mean,
I think I was like a supervisor of the front desk first, we'll say. Yeah, I was super young. That's my next point of gratitude. I'm so grateful for people like paying attention to qualities and things, because at the time I was working at an IHOP when I met the provider that literally like he wasn't even in my section at the IHOP. I was doing a few hours in the morning. I was like really young. I had just gotten my first like official W-2 position, and I could work on like Saturday, Sunday mornings because it's IHOP, right? So like the busier times. And I was killing it. I was making a bunch of money. I mean, it was great for like being that young. But yeah, no cash. It was cash. Mostly people like tipping on cash at that time. So I felt like, you had like a pocket full of, of dollar bills. It felt so cool. I had one morning, really busy morning, and there was a new girl who had just like four little tables next to us, but she was brand new and having a lot of trouble. So I kind of was picking up and paying attention to her section, and in that same section was a few different, like it was just busy the entire time, right? So there's a few different groups of people. I didn't really pay one attention to one over the other, but after once serving this one table, the guy like walks up to me at the end and he's like, listen, I have to compliment you. You are amazing. He's like, you have like tended to us and you're not even our server. And he just thought it was so cool. He gave me a tip, but then he also gave me his business card. And he said, and if you're open to it, I'd love for you to interview with my office manager. And I was like, dude, I'm 14. Like, I don't think he'll understand. I'm 14. And so like, literally, I was like, okay, that's so cool. I'm gonna go there, and yeah, they're gonna be like, sweet, that's so cute. Okay, honey, goodbye. Like, I didn't expect anything to come of it, but I called and I stepped out of my comfort zone because keep in mind, like, I mean, he's an older guy. He had bald head. I totally thinking like, yeah. They're gonna laugh in my face, but I still went. I did the interview, and she loved me. The office manager did, and I mean, it just was like it was a gift. And so I'm so grateful that like he paid attention to my potential and I was able to like try something new. I had no idea at that time. I mean, I had been to a doctor, right, Mom? Like, I'm sure I had been to a doctor. I don't think I'd ever spent any time in a doctor's office, like, intimately. I knew nothing. So, like, you guys who are brand new to healthcare, if you are in that place where you're like, I don't know what the heck is going on, and you're looking at me like, how does she know all this stuff? Listen, I was exactly where you are. Like, this, I mean, yes, it's been a few years. We're going to say just a few years. It's been a long time, but definitely know that feeling of like being so uncomfortable with the newness of it all and trying to understand all the intricacies of it. And I had a very immersive experience, and that's kind of what I would urge you to be open to is just like dive into it. Like watch every single video. When I get those messages from you guys who are like, I've watched all of your videos, like I love that. Just watch every single video that you can because like that you really can't hear the topics and the subject matter enough to feel comfortable. You just have to immerse yourself in it. And if you're not able to get into the world professionally yet, at least you'll be surrounded by the information. You're going to be fully immersed in it, just hearing my want voice the entire time. And then, if you're like looking at getting into a course, like do that, study, and then also immerse yourself in it. And if you're looking to move to the next level and you feel like you've got just enough information to do your job, like go deeper. Try to understand things a little bit more intimately because I guarantee you, like the further that you go into the information, people will start to notice that, wow, you really have a special skill, or like you really seem to understand this to help us make decisions. We need you at the next level with us. And that's literally what has happened my entire career is I've just like I just go in, I'm trying to figure it out, really understand it. And people are like, wow, she's like really interested in this information. And so as my mom was just saying, like I went from front desk reception. I'm sorry, I wasn't even a receptionist. I was a part-time marketing assistant type person. Like this is the funniest. I legit started at the bottom. Okay. You guys who know what the heck I'm talking about when I say this next thing, you got to give me some props in the comments. Okay. Because most younger people are going to be like, what? I literally would come to work to the white pages. Does anybody know what the white pages are? Tell me in the comments before I even say that. I would come to work with the white pages, and it was my job to literally call the people in the white pages. All right. If anybody knows what the white pages, yes, Vanita, tell me who was in the white pages. Whose numbers were in the white pages? I love that. I love that we have somebody who knows. She's probably frantically typing. How things have changed, right? Like we're in a state, I mean, I think about that. It's like white pages. Like I remember going into like, you remember mom, like the phone pay phones in public places where um they would have no white pages was actually residential. So Vanita said business. Yellow pages was business. White
Yes.
pages was the literally people at home. I was my job to call potential patients at home. This is the little like the scut work. Remember I talked to you guys about that? Be willing to do the scut work. Be willing to do the things that like the nurses who are in training, all the new ones have to do. They're like, oh, let me give you this. Take the feces over here. You know, like legit. Like you be willing to do that stuff if you're really, really like interested. But if you're really interested in going deeper, you got to be willing to do what it takes. So for real, the white pages, like being like my job was to get through a page a day. I don't remember how many people, is a boatload of people on each page, but I had to call them and I had a script and whatever and talk to them. So I guess that's partly why I can do this comfortably. So I can, another thing I'm grateful for is like being pushed out of my comfort zone and like, you know, saying yes to things that like most people would be like, I'm not calling some strangers. And so most of the time I would end up on the phone talking about something not even related to healthcare because it was just like a really sweet, you know, old lady I'm on the phone with. And she's talking to me about her grandkids and all the things. But, you know, I learned a lot from that position. But soon after, like I started there and very quickly became receptionist and then became front desk manager. And then literally the office manager who was also the biller at the time, because the office manager that was there before, she had left. So the girl who was the billing manager got kind of promoted into two positions. I don't know if that's a real thing, but she literally got the role of being two people. And so it was a really fun challenge to like just kind of learn all the stuff that she did. I became her assistant, and then eventually started doing the billing for her. And, you know, at that time I was pretty young. So keep in mind, cold calling, how could you? Yeah, I love that. It's true. Cold calling, man. And it's like, at its worst, like literally, I'm like calling random numbers. That's before you could have the, what's those things called, mom? The unlisted numbers, the when you could put yourself on the do not call list, way before you could do that. So yeah, so I, you know, that next journey, like for me being into a field where I was able to just absorb as much as possible, but then having the flexibility. And I'm so grateful for like my parents making it possible for me to even keep in mind I'm in school. I'm in high school, like the beginning of high school. So the fact that they were open to me doing work, and of course I had to be a good student in order to have a work permit. You have to have a certain grade level and all that, right? But you know, allowing me to do that flexible life schedule, because as I started taking on the additional roles at the doctor's office, it became, you know, more time consuming work. So, but my parents have reaped the benefits, right?
Yeah, Gully. But yeah, you worked there for a while, but I never forget when you came home after you decided to leave that job. You came home from my lunch. You said, Mom, I'm not working anymore. I'm gonna start my own business. I'm like, are you sure you want to do this? Yeah, I'm not working for anybody ever again. And like, okay. So I'm here to support you, you know, whatever you want to do. If you want to go on your own, just go on your own. I don't mind, you know. So that's when she decided to start her own business. And she was still young. But she had that mind made up. She's not working for nobody ever again. So
Listen, I was crazy, y'all. Not everybody's that crazy. I was bold. I'm not going to say crazy, but I think that you have to be a little bit crazy to be an entrepreneur. I'm not going to lie. Like we're legit. Our minds don't work like normal people minds. Like it's a little, and everybody in the backstage like giggling at me because it's so true. Like we're a little bit like, woo. There's just always stuff happening, like flying around. You have to be a little bit unique, eccentric. And so I will say that. But one of the things that like is a gift is that I never felt like it was something that was on the outside of possible, right? Like it was felt really foreign and uncomfortable, but it felt like, all right, this is definitely something that I could do if I read it in a book, which is my next really important thing of gratitude, you guys, is like, I'm so, so grateful for books. Like I'm such a geek. And this I get from both of my parents, because both of them read. My dad, leisure, my mom is like a study worm, bookworm. She loves to study anything. Um, but I love being able to get a good book and just like scout, like just completely consume all of it and just feel the reward of feeling myself just a little bit more seasoned, just something else that says, oh, I kind of, whatever that person who knew that thing, I might have gotten 2% of it, maybe 2 to 5% of it, but it was something. Like it made my brain grow. It's like the Grinch, his heart grows. Like this legit, I imagine like my brain grows or whatever. No, I think the Grinch, his heart shrinks first, right? And then and then it gets too big. But I feel like it's a gift, and it's really cool that you guys, if you aren't if you're not connected to reading in like the physical sense, you don't like books or ebooks or whatever, at least do audiobooks. I think that's so cool. Like I'm an audiobook junkie right now. I love Audible. I mean, I'm not being sponsored by Audible, but I love Audible. What I'm obsessed with right now is I listen to an Audible book. I'm going to suggest this to you guys, and I say, okay, first of all, I have to make sure that I do a sample to make sure I'm not annoyed by the person's voice, because sometimes it gets annoying. But I listen and I make sure I like the person or the person's voice, and then I will listen to it. I'll buy it or whatever, and I'll listen to it. And if I like love the book, I buy the physical book, and then I do it again and write all over it, because like I feel like it's such a cool thing to have, like the opportunity of like really absorbing this information. So if I felt like I didn't get as much as that I needed to, and I really love the book, I'm like, I gotta go. I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna try that again. I'm gonna I'm gonna study it basically. So and again, it goes back to immersion. So Mom, tell me one thing that you're grateful for in your career in all things.
That
Like
what I'm grateful
you've been
for.
doing a lot of things. What did you say?
I am. I'm grateful for a lot of things, really. I'm grateful to be alive for another year with my family. I'm grateful to have very special children. They're all pretty smart. They really come a long way. So I'm proud of them. So I'm grateful to have a beautiful family. I'm grateful for I finally purchased a new home in Fredericksburg, and it's a brand new home. No one ever lived in it, and so I love it. It's like it was a model, so it came with everything. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm just grateful to be alive. Really, I'm happy to have my family with me. I have all my kids with me for this Thanksgiving, so I'm happy for that. So I
Yeah,
just thank God for everything, because I feel that, some people are not here this year. My mom, she passed away in 2019, so she's not here to celebrate Thanksgiving, but I still say happy Thanksgiving to her. Heavenly Thanksgiving is what I would say. But I'm just grateful to be here with my family.
so good.
Yeah,
So
and I'm
good.
grateful for a new job that I got too.
Yeah, share that.
Yeah, really. I love healthcare a lot. I really do. But I'm doing both. I guess I wear so many different hats. But I'm working with kids now. I'm a business teacher for middle school, and it's a pretty good job. It's pretty challenging. I have sixth, seventh, and eighth graders, so you can imagine what I'm going through with middle school. But I still love it. The kids are so sweet. So I'm grateful to be there and to be able to be a role model for the kids. At least they look at me as Mrs. B. Yeah, I love the way you dress nice. You are such a pretty lady. You're the pretty lady in the high school, in the middle school. I'm like, okay, well, thank you. These are the sixth graders. But I'm grateful to be there with the kids, to be a good role model for them. So thank God for all of that.
Yeah. No, it's so cool. Like middle school, I was talking to my mom. We went walking we've been walking every morning, but we went walking a couple of days ago. And yeah, it's really cold, by the way, where we are. It's a really cold walk. It's like it was like 21 degrees the first morning that we went walking. So this is how committed to getting out in nature. But excuse me. But the discussion was like, what a gift it is to have someone who is really passionate and really kind of like I just have shared already, like really hungry to learn something and to try something new in a middle school, because those of us who've been in middle school remember how awkward or uncomfortable that season of life was. Not my best years of my life, not my best years. I mean, it was, it was middle school. I was just gonna say that it was middle school. But I'm so grateful to have that like experience, to have like challenged me, because I think high school was much easier than most. Like I felt like middle school got me prepared for the crazy challenges and things of adulthood, even as I, got past my high school years. Because, kids get mean, like at that age, like I don't know what it is. They get such attitude and then they get mean and mean to each other. People that were your friends or you're not your friends the next hour, it feels like. So I know you get to see all that drama too. There's a lot of drama in that school
Yeah,
age.
really. I did it all.
Yeah, I love it. So yeah, so in the next season, mom shared a little bit about kind of the launching into business. I'm not going to share. One day I'll share the full details, but basically, I was at that time a practice administrator. No, I was not. I'm sorry. I was a practice administrator, and then I wanted to change a little bit, shift my position a little bit to something a little bit more immersive. I moved into I wanted to learn more billing specifically, and I knew I wanted to start my business because my provider that I was running the practices for always sent me over to his colleagues, and there were actually partners in this practice, but they sent me over to their colleagues, and I was doing consulting and things like that on the side. And keep in mind, I'm like 18 or something at this time, and and I said, I really want to understand more in the billing world, because everything that I learned was stuff that I figured out on my own. I didn't really feel, I mean, I did learn things from the office manager, as I mentioned, slash biller, but really kind of getting more into um, financial arm and administration of a larger group is what I was looking for. And so I decided to move into this larger practice that had I don't remember, like 12 or 14 or something providers, and I was a an assistant to the billing manager who directly worked with the CFO of the company. It was very, they had like 3 floors of this office building, huge practice. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be so great. I'm going to learn so much. And I realized that like I knew a lot. Not only did I know a lot, but I knew a lot more than the person that I was answering to. And it was fine for a while because I thought, okay, it's still good. I'll still learn some stuff. And then I started realizing that all the suggestions and the things that I was making, they were coming by way of her to the CFO. And I was kind of being forgotten about. I was just the girl over there that just would feed this information to the billing manager, and it wasn't ever represented as something that was coming through me. And I recognized that that was going to be the case. She was never going to let me ever move into her position. It was not her desire to leave or anything. So in short, I decided, like my mom said, I'm over this. I am going all in. At that time, I think I had a couple of clients already. I was doing like side hustle, we'll say. I had like 2 clients, not sustainable and as a business, but that was when I was like, I'm going headfirst into this. It was nuts, you guys. I legit remember I had a flat tire outside in the parking lot, like when like I was like had made the decision, I was planning to leave, and I remember thinking to myself, like, is this it? Like, what are you doing? Like, you are making the stupidest decision. Like, you right now can afford potentially to go buy a tire right now. But like if this happened and you're running your own business and you're making not even $1,000 a month, I don't know what it was at that time, what are you gonna do? Um, and so I still took the leap and it worked out. And I was super grateful for that. It was a totally wild ride. So it was not like rainbows and butterflies. And I'll share more about that detail. It definitely grew quickly just because I went all in and I had no choice but to grow it. When you have no other option, right? Like it's just like you all of a sudden the fire, you find the spark. The fire starts to burn and you're like, I got to do this. Doesn't matter what happens, I'm all in, and it's gonna happen. And at that time I was living with my parents. I had just had my daughter. She was little, like very little. And I was living with my parents. Like they had a house that had plenty of space, and we opened an office. And at that time it was me. My mom posted part-time for me, like insurance payment posting, for, I don't know, for a few months, right? For a while.
Yeah, for about almost 6 months, 6 to 7 months.
Yeah, for a few
Yeah.
months
And
until
then
I finally.
you had other, some other people that was there too to come in and out of the house that was posting.
Yeah, exactly. It was kind of funny. I mentioned you guys this about like having the gift of my parents. Again, back to gratitude. Super grateful for my parents for letting me literally invite a bunch of strangers into their
That's what it was.
like a bunch of strangers into the house. But like the cool thing is that I found great people. Like the gift of, I had some folks that I was connected to from my other businesses that I had worked in. So that's how I started it. I had a couple of people that came over kind of part-time payment posters and things that and AR reps and at that time charge posters as well. So we had charge entry, payment posting. It was a totally different world. Can we just say thank you, technology gods, for
Yes,
like
no.
like claim submissions and ERAs, because there
Wow.
was literally a cycle of dropping off to the post office every single
Yeah.
day.
All the paper coming in, and it was like you had to put the line down and try to figure out where you left off with the posting. It was crazy. Yeah, thank you, technology. Wow.
You remember, Mom? Do you remember when I bought those big 3-letter word filing charts, the filing cabinets? I mean, filing cards. The filing cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
We had massive metal
Okay.
filing cabinets in my parents' home. I mean, it was a lockable room. It was something that was a totally kind of separate, we'll say, for the purposes of compliance and all that. And the cabinet was old school medical, like metal cabinets that had a lock and key on it and all that stuff. You guys, we weren't playing around. There were the ones that go real high. It was like 5 horizontal drawers long, huge, with hanging files in them. Y'all, that was back. We had to have ones for charge posting. We had them for payment posting. We had a wall of boxes. So like as we grew, we had different account managers or team leads or whatever you guys typically hear the language referred to, people that kind of were in charge of the accounts. They all had boxes for the different practices. And then it was like inbox for things that were coming in, charges. Then it was a payment posting box. And then there was a messages that we needed to send to the practice, because we used to send like messages to the practices, like actually take a message to them on a monthly basis. Yeah, I can't even explain to you how things have changed, because at that time yes, email was a thing, but it was not used commonly at all. And so it was faxing. We faxed.
Facts.
And if the person didn't have a fax, we would take the request with our batches that would go back to the practices. Like we would pick up, I'm sorry, I forgot about that part, Mom. Do you remember when we used to, I mean, like, Mom, could you go over to Dr. Such and Such and pick up the batch of, you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you remember that?
Yes, I remember it.
That is so that's hilarious, because we spent so much money on gas at that time. We would go to the practice twice.
It's amazing how technology changed. I mean, it's really good. It's changed to the best, because it was like really bad back then. We had a big bag of shredding. We had to shred everything. It was crazy. Oh my God.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like trying to make the switch from faxing to get people to email stuff, and or not necessarily all PHI stuff or anything, but even just like questions that they had. And then I remember the transition from fax to us trying to use like a shared spreadsheet, which like still to this day, there's some clients that are just not up to, to speed, we'll say. They're just not willing to make a change. And it's so different, like for them to feel the discomfort of like, why can't you just fax it to me? Why can't you just bring it by? Like, because I don't live in your state anymore. Like, I moved. All my clients are not there anymore. So, and that's the other thing. Like at that time, it was so, actually, one of the things I really loved about the style of business is it was more face-to-face oriented, where like we knew our clients. Like there wasn't a client that we never didn't have a face-to-face meeting with, like at some point throughout the week or month at a minimum, like every couple of weeks, because at some point we had you remember the courier services, and then we canceled the courier, and then I built my own courier service. It it was legit like friends of mine that like I recruited. I was like, hey guys, I need a courier service. You guys want to you guys would be my couriers? And that's how we did it, because I was like getting overcharged from like these local carrier services, courier. I think it's courier, COU. Yeah. Local courier services. Yeah, they were like, they were charging by the mile, and then they charged, it's like a whole thing. So I instead had this worked out, with my friends, and they would run around, pick up batches every week. There was a drop-off process, and then we on a monthly basis would go to our clients' offices, you guys, to deliver month-end reports and the invoice, and then we would leave with a paper check. That was literally how the month-end exchange happened. And that was like up until maybe 5 years, consistently. There were still some clients there were clients that we had moved to electronic stuff, but there were still clients up until about 5 years ago that was still their process. Because even after I moved, my mom actually became like, my mom and my dad sometimes became my brother, my little brother who worked for the company. They became the representatives basically of the company, that, hey, go drop off the reports and pick up the check from Dr. such and such. That was such a fun time. So different. But yeah, so I'm very grateful for technology, because everything has changed, you guys. Like between the claims and the entire claims process, the speed at which we get reimbursed from insurances right now, like blows it out of the water. Back in the day, I mean, it was like legit at least about 30 days that you're waiting for payment. And then there was constant issues with checks missing, and the EUBs maybe not being complete, all kinds of weird stuff. But we constantly had this like running list of like, oh, we got to track these checks and make sure that we get these payments. And there's like this very manual reconciliation process. So super grateful for direct deposit. Yay. People from our side, as from our clients, but then also from our clients getting paid from their insurance companies, direct deposit. And like all the little things that we take for granted right now, like those of you who are new to healthcare and you're complaining about like little things like, oh, the rejections, yeah, we stuffed envelopes like every day. We used to take physical referrals and authorization documents, all kinds of stuff, staple them suckers and put them into packages. And I mean, legit, very manual. And then we'd have to paper chase it. Like, did they get the claim? You got to make sure that happened, because there's still timely filing stuff. And then what happens if they didn't get it? Well, send it again. Like, it was like, finally they started receiving stuff by fax, but that was like still a nightmare. So yeah, so let's be super grateful for technology's advancements, not having to call on every single claim. Or back in the day, we used to have to do, I can't remember what the document was called. It had a specific name. Basically, in order to get statuses of our claims, we would send a letter that had a format on it by which an adjuster, claims adjuster, the insurance company would, an insurance tracer, that was what it was called, an insurance tracer, where they would complete this document that said, yes, we have the claim, and yes, it's in process, or yes, we have the claim, and yes, here's why it's delayed, or whatever. They legit would mail an insurance tracer form back to us. This is like OG back in the day. Now you guys are logging onto websites and just
Yeah.
like,
That's a good thing.
yeah, checking the statuses. So different. Such a good. So it's so not like something to take for granted. Be grateful, even when the websites don't behave the way that you want them to. They don't have all the bells and whistles. You got to recognize that it's still new. Like insurance websites being a fixture in healthcare is brand new, like seriously new. So don't feel like annoyed or upset with insurance companies that don't have the technology piece down yet, because we're talking like 5 to 10. That's really generous. 10 years. I'm gonna say 5 to 7 years where that's a common thing, that they even have a portal. And then they have other business stuff going on, right? So they're not always investing in like what the next things are with being able to add more access or functionality. So we're just be as patient as you can. I'm not trying to defend insurance carriers or aren't advocating, but I'm saying that there is something to be appreciative about the progress and something to look forward to, because they are getting better. It moves slowly, we'll say, but in the grand scheme of things, like things have changed very quickly. You guys have to write, like billing and insurance world, it has changed tremendously, like the whole over the last, since it started, by the way, in the 60s officially, in the sense that we know it today. I say that, it blows my mind, but some people have lived through that entire like birth of insurance in the formal sense, the way that we know it today. So I'm giggling because I think that you guys are battling with the comments box or something. I don't know what's happening. Like popping open and closing. That's why I was laughing. So anyway, I wanted to just share a couple of other last little pieces of gratitude. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, please make sure that you share what you're grateful for, please. My next, really, like, you guys don't understand, and I'm not trying to be all cheesy and sentimental, but I am so grateful for this space, like the courage to do this space in general, like being here with you guys, and then also like the gift of recognizing that like we all need this space, like the Medical Billers Network Live, the Inlera YouTube page. Like, you guys don't understand, like it is, when I started, like I don't even think YouTube was now, because it was born in 2006, I think. YouTube wasn't even a thing at all. But the reality is that like we all had to learn basically almost through osmosis. Like you got to be there with somebody to try to absorb things from them, and you kind of hope that this person's teaching it right, but then they were trying to figure it out, like all this mess of information, which has in turn slowed down the progress, because there hasn't been a lot of great support and in a formal sense for billers. There's been, I don't know why, you guys, why coders have gotten way more, we'll say, structure around what they do from day to day, and why billers and administrative people, and I say practice managers and front desk receptionists, all of the other people supporting the business of healthcare, why we got left behind in the dust. Like I don't understand that. From a formal sense, there's not really a space or a place for you to go, like, oh, I'm gonna go plug in to an industry through this group of people, right? Like AAPC is a coding company. Now we have great training from them. We have certifications from them. Grateful for that space, but they are what they are. they offer practice management stuff. They offer billing stuff, but the name is the American Academy of Professional Coders, AAPC. They only call themselves AAPC now because they do other things but you guys they don't have the the backbone, will say, that we have, those of us who've been in billing long enough, that can bring to the table to like support someone who's new in the community. So like this kind of community, this type of network that we can build to bring forth and birth the next generation of billers and the next generation of awesome front desk receptionists and practice managers. Like it's so exciting because it doesn't need to come from somebody just kind of like finagling their way in because they did something in an industry that was like, we can literally, you guys can grow into these roles, take the knowledge that you've gained, or potentially grow like fresh, like brand new, break into it and be supported by a network that we're creating here. All right. So I'm grateful that you guys have like played along with me, because this has been just a little, like, as you guys know, over the last few months, I've been spending a little bit more time, but it's been a passion project for me for a number of years now. Like, I really want to do this. I really want to pour into the next generation of billers and practice managers and people that are in this area of the really the backbone of healthcare. And so it's very exciting to feel like we're in this place where we have a lot to offer you guys. So one of the things that and I saw a question come in, let me see, one of the things that I wanted to share today is we've talked a little bit about our courses, just briefly letting you guys know that we have offerings that we've put out there, but we are formalizing a lot of our offerings over these next few weeks on the page. And then between now and Monday, there is a really fun Black Friday deal. If you're brand new to healthcare, or you know someone that wants to get into healthcare, the billing world, this is like a medical billing starter package. Did you sneeze? Bless you. Was that a sneeze, Mama? I don't know. But I see. Yeah. So let me say, I'm going to answer Carolyn's. Hi, Carolyn.
Okay.
I'm interested in Medical Billing 101 on Inlera website. I wanted to know if the course will help me land the entry-level medical billing job. Okay, so potentially it will help you understand whether or not you want to do where you want to be in the billing world. So here's the most important element of the Medical Billing 101 course is it's going to teach you the qualities of a biller, what the typical day looks like, what you will be doing potentially in whatever type of industry, organization you'll be in. So it is helpful to help kind of direct you. I'm going to be frank, it depends on what type of role you plan on getting. If you say entry level, and if someone is going to provide on the job training to you to do something like be a scanning or a support, right? Someone who's there to help scan in documents from, let's say you're working at a billing company and there's correspondence that gets physically mailed and your job is to organize. That's like a role in a lot of billing companies, right? It is a function in a lot of billing companies. And most people start there and then move to something else, or maybe you're helping with like authorization management. That's usually something that someone will train you in. You will learn that on the job, and then you can build from there to continue your journey. So it will help you understand the qualities of a biller, because I'm going to say this, that I have to urge you guys, if you're brand new, learn what we do as billers first. Understand the role, because there are qualities and there's skill set that you want to make sure you can embody. You don't necessarily have to come to the table with all of them, but there's certain things that just intrinsically you need to feel comfortable with, right? So if you feel like you hate researching things or you hate investigating things, like billing is an example of a career path that you probably don't want to go down if it's going to be AR work. Now you can still do maybe a function in the area of billing, different area, but reality is, if you go down the position of like an AR follow-up rep or a team lead or account manager, something like, you're going to be doing the bulk of that research and investigative work. So it's important to understand. So yes, the Medical Billing 101 course will give you that clarity around what the role looks like. And the Black Friday deal has both the Medical Billing 101 course and the language of billing. Both of those are beautiful foundational courses if you're planning to go into a position that's going to give you on-the-job training, and or if you're going to go into a program, because it's going to give you the support of terminology that you must know while taking the course, and that you must know if you're planning to certify with any body. Any certifying body has an element of terminology as well. And billing has its own language, you guys. We use our, like, coders have their own, obviously it's medical terminology, anatomy, physiology, things that we don't need to know as much of as billers, but billers, we have our own lingo and things that we say and use on a day-to-day basis. So it's really important to understand that. So yeah, the actual, and I'll go over these on the video on Friday in more depth, but the actual Black Friday deal, I think it's already up on sale on the site right now, and it's there through Monday, into Cyber Monday, and that is the medical billing starter bundle. And so I'm putting it here, but we'll also put it in the links of the video. But if you go to the ipslearninginstitute.com, and the links in any of our videos should have that as well. When you click on that link, it will take you to the main page. The Black Friday deal is for 2 courses. It's a bundle, and it's like the best price that you'll get it at, because it's Black Friday and we want you guys to have a good price. And it's exciting. If you're thinking about going into billing, it's super exciting. I want to make sure that it's something that you can, comfortably enter into, feeling like you've got all of the right information, because I'm going to be honest, like a lot of the schools and programs that are out there, you are like a number. I'm going to do that. You're just a number, a dollar, and then also a student, right? So, as they want an enrollment. So these programs, some of them are tens of thousands. I've seen some 2-year programs that are like $10,000, $12,000. Like, I know you guys are investing, and they sell you guys in the payment plans, or the loans, or student loans and things like that. If you're going to go out there and incur a loan and invest in your education, I'm not saying don't do it. I just want to make sure that when you do it, you don't hate it. It's very important that you understand, I'm going into this industry, and I because I know that I like it, and it's something that is exciting to me. All right. I don't want you to go in there feeling like, oh my gosh, like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. I'm done. And then you've, blown all this money and are stuck with some loan payments or whatever. And over the next few weeks, you guys are going to hear a lot about our different courses and things that we have out there. A lot of you have been asking questions. And so I'm just going to put it out there on the YouTube, because I want you to know. And then ideas, thoughts, questions, my billers that are out there. I have some really cool ideas in my mind, but I totally think that you guys are the best source for it. If you're out there and like you're looking for some kind of resource, something, I want to know what is going to support you in your journey. One of the thoughts that I have, and I want some votes on this, you guys can vote for this in the comments below, excuse me, is or the comments. I don't know where it is on your on your screen. It's probably on the side. Let me know whether you're watching it in the replay or now, what you guys think about us doing either a LinkedIn Live together or a Zoom meetup. I have a desire for us to get together and have a dialogue. It will be something that will be focused, we'll say, on a particular topic of discussion, but I want it to be a good dialogue where we are speaking to each other. So the LinkedIn Live is an audio version. So it's kind of like, if you're familiar with Clubhouse, it's an audio, kind of like a, I don't know, live podcast or something. It's almost like you're in a seminar or like a conference, and people can bring you up on what they call like a stage or whatever, but you can be up there to have a conversation basically with everyone else, versus in the Zoom world, it's a camera. So not saying that you have to have camera on, but the option would be there that it would be camera based. So we might play with both, but what's your vote? What do you want to see? What do you want to hear? And then if there are other ideas that you're like, it would be so great if you guys had blank, insert what you want there. 2023 is going to be a really awesome year. We are all going to grow together, and I'm just excited about serving you guys and really like just showing up for you in all the ways and finding all the brains to help you on your journey. I know that I'm not the person to teach you and help you through all of the parts of the business of healthcare. I know that there might be someone else that can support you, and I want to get those people here in this space. So yeah. So listen, my mom, I'm sure, is like, when are we going to wrap this up, you guys? We went long today, but thank you so much for being here. And we got to go finish getting like prepping stuff for Thanksgiving tomorrow. I really hope that you guys are just having a relaxed holiday season, something that doesn't cause you a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. Just breathe through it all and have fun. Like just to enjoy life. Enjoy life. All right, my friends. And thank you so much for being here. If you have questions, join the Facebook group, ask your questions and or pop them in here on our comments and make sure we continue this conversation. Oh, and next week, I have to announce next week is it is the first Thursday of the month, which is now our new medical billing, our new trivia night. It's not only going to be billing, we'll throw in some coding stuff there as well. But trivia night. So we are doing not Fridays. Did I say Fridays? First Thursdays of the month is now trivia. So make sure that you join our live. It is 6:30 p.m. That's our usual time. Is Thursday 6:30 p.m. and we will be doing trivia first Thursday, and then the others will be our typical show, different topics and discussions. All right, my friends, be well. Take care. Thank you so much. Yes, trivia.
Can I say one thing, Jasmine?
Oh, say again?
Yeah, I just want to say one thing. I just want to let them know that if they would decide to take the big step as to owning their own business, that would be a great decision for some of the people if they want to do that. They are starting very young now. As I say, I teach business education for middle school. So I'm teaching them how to start business from grade 6, 7th, and 8th. So I feel if they can do that, if the school is teaching the kids how to do that, hey, why not take that step?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if they really want to move forward with owning their own medical billing company, you're giving them the opportunity to learn. So take the step. Just jump in and do it. Get your feet wet. You never know. You never know how you're going to turn out until you do it, right?
So true.
Yeah.
Perfectly stated, Mama Joyce. You're the bomb.com. Listen, you guys, thank you so much for being here, and thank Mama Joyce for being here, because I think I've shared, you guys don't understand how nerve-wracking it is to be here live and know that this video is staying put for years to come. So thank you so much, Mom, for being and playing ball and saying yes, because I was like, hey, why don't you do the live with me next week? And she was like, sure. So I was just grateful for you saying yes. And y'all, thank you so much for walking down memory lane with us and letting me, laugh in your ear. I know I laugh a lot, so I hope that's okay. I hope that you find it contagious. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Mama. I appreciate you. I love you.
Bye-bye. Love you too, baby. Have a
Bye,
good
guys.
day.
Take care. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone.